Have you ever stopped to think about this? How is it that the exact same hardship can forge two completely different people? How one person gets twisted by a struggle, maybe even becomes cruel, while another seems to find some kind of liberation in it. Well, today, we're going to dig into the hidden factor that decides which path we end up on.
I mean, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? We see it happen all the time. Two people face a similar loss, a similar challenge, but their lives go in wildly different directions. One person spirals down into resentment and frankly causing harm. The other seems to find a new level of strength and clarity. So what is the secret ingredient here? What's that hidden variable?
And here it is. This is the core idea we're going to unpack, and it's drawn from the incredible wisdom of the Bhagavad Gītā. The source material argues that the deciding factor isn't the storm raging around us. It's not what happens to us. It's our inner response. It's our internal posture, our attitude towards whatever life throws our way.
So let's start by looking at that destructive path. The source calls this compensatory aggression, and it's this really recognizable pattern where a deep frustration just boils over into some pretty harmful behavior. It feels like a very modern problem, but it has some seriously ancient roots. The source has a name for this: egoic compensation. And get this, it's not about real strength at all. It's about a wounded ego desperately trying to patch itself up. When we feel powerless or small, instead of looking inward and finding some self-discipline, the ego lashes out. It tries to dominate other people just to get that feeling of being in control back.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. Look at how this actually plays out in real life. Let's take the first trigger. Someone loses control over their money. Instead of reflecting on what happened, they just start blaming everyone else, usually family, and they rewrite the story to make themselves the victim. Or how about this one? Someone's feeling insecure about their physical strength or health. Well, they might use emotional coercion, try to hyper-control their partner, and pass off their anger as authority. It's the exact same pattern, you see? An internal wound gets projected outward as a need to control others.
Okay, so if that's the destructive path, what's the alternative? This is where the source points us straight to the Bhagavad Gītā. It basically lays out two totally different ways to navigate the world. One is driven by the ego, and the other is guided by discipline.
This is the key concept right here: inner orientation. And it's not just a mood. It's the fundamental posture of your mind when it comes up against reality. Is your default setting to protect your ego no matter what? Or is it to align yourself with a higher ethical duty, what the text calls Dharma?
This comparison is just wow. It's fantastic. So on the path of the ego, getting a promotion means I deserve this. I'm entitled to it. A physical limitation feels like a personal attack from the universe. But switch over to the path of discipline. That same authority is now seen as a duty to serve others. And that same limitation, it becomes a useful tool to keep the ego in check. The event is exactly the same. The interpretation changes absolutely everything.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's not the world that's your enemy. It's your own unchecked mind. Your mind can be your greatest friend, helping you find clarity, or it can be your worst enemy, leading you straight down a path of delusion and harm. The real battle is always, always internal.
Now, to really see how these two paths play out, the source gives us this incredible story. It comes from the ancient epic, the Mahabharata, and it's the perfect case study, embodied by two opposing sides of a single royal family.
So on one side, you've got King Dhritarashtra. And on paper, this guy has it all. The throne, huge armies, 100 sons. But his inner orientation is a total mess of fear, attachment, and grievance. He's physically blind, but what's worse is that he's morally blind. All that power just makes his fear of losing it even bigger. Then on the other side, you have the Pandavas. They've lost their kingdom, they're facing constant hardship, and they have way fewer resources. But, and this is the whole point, their inner orientation is aligned with Dharma, guided by their wise counsel, Krishna. So their limitations don't break them. In fact, their alignment with a higher purpose becomes their greatest strength.
And here it is. This is the ultimate lesson from that entire epic struggle. It was never about who had the bigger army or more power. Karma, the law of cause and effect, it's not impressed by brute force. It responds to the quality, the alignment of your consciousness. The Pandavas won not because they were stronger on the battlefield, but because they were clearer in their minds.
So all of this brings it right back to us, right here, right now. This isn't just some ancient story. It's a choice that every single one of us faces. The source material makes it crystal clear that this framework is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago.
So what are the big takeaways here? 3 really crucial insights. First, being limited in some way, financially, physically, whatever, that doesn't make you a lesser person.
Second, just because you've lost something or suffered, that does not give you a free pass to be cruel to others. And third, having authority doesn't put you above the rules, it actually means you have a greater responsibility. These are like the guideposts for that path of discipline.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. The next time you face the challenge, a loss, a moment of frustration, what's your inner orientation going to be? Will it be that egoic compensation, lashing out just to feel in control? Or will it be one of alignment, using that challenge to sharpen your judgment and strengthen your character? The choice, as the Gita reminds us, is always yours.